And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby 411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and it's with great honor and privilege to have with me the one and only DZ Dane Zander. Dane, welcome to the podcast. How you doing, brother?
Good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
I'm doing great. I've been, you come up a lot when I've talked to a lot of your teammates. I don't know if you know about this, but
Oh, no.
always your name comes up. There's always a Dane Zander story, or man, DZ does this or does that. So, and I've talked to you a couple of times at our watch parties and get-togethers, everything, and you always are a great guy. Obviously, you did a spicy hot wing challenge with us and Christian Lealifano. So
Yeah.
I definitely needed to get to talk to you on the podcast one-on-one. So thank you very much for doing that with us, brother.
No, of course, mate. Anytime.
Yeah. So let's start from the very beginning. Born in Australia. Now, from what I understand, again, like many of your fellow Australian players and also players from New Zealand and South Africa, rugby more prevalent in your countries rather than here compared in America. But I also know that you grew up with rugby because I believe your father, or at least your family, played rugby.
No, so my father actually played Australian rules football. So
Oh,
I
got
was the
it.
first, boy in my family to play rugby union, which is actually surprisingly.
Oh, okay. So your
Yeah.
father was an Australian football player. There you go.
Yeah. Aussie
Yeah.
rules. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there is I think they're still around. I think they're called the LA Dragons. I don't know if
Yeah.
you heard about them, but there's an Australian rules football team here that plays in a small league. I don't know. It's obviously not a pro league, but
Yeah.
there is a little unit here that actually does that. But man, that's another sport where I mean, we'll have a conversation about this at another time. But you watch it as an American football fan, and you look
Yeah.
at Australian rules, you're like, wait, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's a pretty complicated game to
It's
understand.
different. It's
Yeah.
definitely different with the different uprights and the different heights and everything. It's different. So
Yeah.
so okay, then let's talk about that. Your father grew up playing Australian rules football, and like you said, you're the first in your family to rugby. Why did you pick up the rugby ball and not the Australian football?
So actually, when I maybe 6 or 7, I went down to try Australian rules football, and I sort of I maybe did it for 6 months to a year, and I just didn't have this right body type, I think, for it, because you got to be a pretty thin and slim guy running around a lot.
Ah, I see.
And
Okay.
I just sort of really didn't really enjoy it as much.
Mm-hmm.
My dad like lives and breathes it; he loves it. But so then I was like, oh, we went and said, oh, let's go try rugby union, and
Okay.
we went down to my local club when I was like 7, and just I was playing rugby league and rugby union at the same time.
Got it.
So I was playing that at like a local club near my house for a few years. And it wasn't until I was about 10 or 11 where I went to Nudgee College, and they're a pretty like dominant rugby school,
Mm-hmm.
which where I just switched over to rugby union full time from there.
Okay, so very
Mm.
similar to your fellow your Aussie Ben Houston, where there was that choice between playing either union or league, and you end up going to a school that was dominant one code. It
Yes. Yeah.
was there outside of the school, the fact that you went to a university that was predominantly league, I mean union, was there a choice on your own mind of which side you wanted to play more so than other, or were you cool with either code?
I loved both of them just as equal, you know what I mean? And obviously going to the new school, and I wanted to meet a lot of mates and play a sport. And rugby union was the best one for me. And then I just fell in love with it since then. And I sort of never really had the itch to play rugby league again from that part.
There you go. There you go. Now, then we'll go on a little bit further. You got into your Northern Suburbs Colts with the Shute Shield championship from there. Were you? I was trying to run dates with that. I know they won a championship in 2016. Were you part of that team when they won?
No, so my NRC team, I played in 2019 and we played in the semi-final. I wasn't a part of the 2016 team, but
Got
I
it.
was a part of the 2019 team. Yeah.
Got it. And then from what I also did my research on you, you also played for the Brisbane City team in what was once the Australian National Rugby Championship, which no
Yeah.
longer is around. And then made your way ultimately to Super Rugby, which for those who aren't familiar with that, Super Rugby, one of the prominent pro competitions in the Tasmanian, Australian, New Zealand, and also a couple of the other countries. Argentina, I know, throws a couple. And then we also, of course, have the Pacific Islands with Fiji and everything. How big was it to be picked up by the Queensland Reds and being in Super Rugby?
Oh, mate, it was massive. Yeah, like you said, after my 2019 NRC season, I got invited to do like a training trial sort of preseason camp before the season, and they said if you there might be an opportunity for you with the contract after preseason if we're happy with you, and just like the Reds, like I was ever since I was a little kid, I loved the Reds, like just
Oh,
always went to the games with my old man and just loved what they were about, Queensland, like where I'm from.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, just even got to watch them win a 2011 Super Rugby World title, and all I thought was like, fuck, I'd love to play for the Reds one day. And yeah, eventually had a really good preseason, and then got picked up on a contract for 2 years after that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So that's awesome. So the boyhood dream became a reality to play for
Yeah.
the Reds. So then it seems to me from almost the start, rugby was the goal for you. Or was it just that you started getting better at it and then it just kind of opened up? Or what?
To be honest, I was so when I left school, I started a carpentry trade out of
Okay.
school, and I
Okay.
was just sort of playing club rugby, like you said, and I never really thought that I could probably get picked up to that next level, but I just loved playing the game, loved playing with my mates, and always wanted to get better, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And and eventually just one thing led to another, and got to the Super Rugby team, the Reds. It happened pretty quick, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it seemed almost like instantly you went from Shute Shield to NRC, ANRC to now Super Rugby. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a fast incline right there.
yeah,
So that's very, very impressive. Very impressive. So
yeah.
now we're at 2023 with Super Rugby. Was there the thought of renewing or staying in Super Rugby, maybe not with the Reds, but with another team? Or was the option out there to go somewhere else?
So towards the end of that season, I just did my knee, and all of our coaching staff got released, so they're getting a whole new sort of coaching staff in,
Mm-hmm.
and just I wasn't like in their plans for the future with the new
Got
staff.
it.
They brought some of their own players in from overseas, from New
Sure,
Zealand and stuff
sure.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the opportunity to come over to LA and play in the
Mm-hmm.
MLR. And I've
So
only ever heard good things about that because I had a few mates at the Guiltinis. I was like, oh,
oh, there you go. There you go.
let's give it a
Okay.
go. Like I'd love to come over here and play, and I've loved it ever since I've been here. You know what I mean?
Got it. Got it. Yes, definitely. Especially with the LA Guiltinis, obviously a large Australian influence. Now he's her coach, but Dave Dennis was the captain at one time. Well,
Yeah,
obviously we had Matt Cato, Adam Cooper. So I mean, we had a lot of Australian players on the staff, and of course, now your head coach Stephen Hoyesy, was assistant coach at the time too. So let's go back a little bit. Was MLR really well known in Australia comparatively to you guys?
I think that it probably wasn't really in the rugby community, like because obviously I have a lot of mates in the rugby community. So it's pretty well known, I'd say. Probably not all around Australia. It was like if you ask some random on the street that there's rugby in America, they'd probably be like, "Oh, really?"
Ah, okay.
It was pretty well known, and my group of friends in the rugby sort of community that I was involved with. So yeah, for sure.
Got it. So now I'm assuming, is this the first time that you had to now move to a different country, a completely different culture in your young life, going over to LA?
Yeah, 100%. I hadn't. It was the first time leaving Brisbane to move somewhere else because I've only ever lived there my whole life. So yeah, was a big journey to come over here, and yeah, I was lucky that I had some great roommates when I first, because I came over here not knowing anyone on the team. It's a brand new team, right?
Right.
Yeah, moved in with Jack Shaw, Seth Purdy, and it was unreal meeting those guys, and they helped me a lot with the transition coming over here.
Nice. So let's talk about that, because obviously, I met you year one with RFCLA, and many people may not know the story, but literally, you guys were kind of put together in like what, a couple weeks, like if that.
Yeah, I remember we were having some Zoom meetings in December, and we were meant to come over in January, and we're like, "Oh, is this going to really happen?" Like, sort of getting pushed through pretty quick. But hands down to Pete Sickle and his team, they got it done, and yeah, it was a smooth transition coming over here. We had a lot of support from the club and a lot of great people that were involved. So yeah, it was great.
Okay. And then, of course, obviously, I've talked about this a lot with your teammates who have been in year one along with year two. So, Andrew Coe, Matt Heaton, Jason Dom. Year one, obviously, the word that we come up with, there's two of them actually, frustrating and disappointing. A lot of potential on the team, or at least it looked like it, but definitely felt like there was a struggle getting through the season. Obviously, when you compare it to other teams, not a bad season at all. It's not like was a complete disaster, but definitely I want your take on it. What did you feel about year one with RFCLA?
Year one, I think we obviously lacked not having a very big squad. So we had some really great key players, but what really sort of hurt us, I thought, in the long run is that because we were sort of set up so quick and everything like that, we didn't have a really big squad. So if someone got injured, we didn't have someone that could go into that position. And then just maybe a bit of experience, like compared to this year, we have a lot more like quality experienced players, which is great for the young American guys coming through. They can learn and which will improve their game and thing. And I think just being a lot more set up, and like we have awesome facilities now, and we have a great team, great coaches. We didn't really have that sort of. It was really rushed at the start. We didn't really have a base to sort of build off. But this year, like coming back, we've got everything was just set out from the start. We knew the way we wanted to play. We knew we had a great facility and great bunch of boys in the squad.
Yeah, so let's talk about now year two. Definitely much improvement as the product on the pitch shows. We had our first 4-game win streak, first time that many wins in a row in franchise history. I know you haven't been able to participate too much because unfortunately an injury for you. But have you noticed a difference in the vibe of the locker room from year one to year two?
Yeah, definitely. Credit to our coach Steve Halls. He really he's enforcing us to play a really positive brand of rugby, to try and really grow the game over here. And I think the boys are loving that being in that environment. Just wanting to play exciting rugby, fast, no stoppages. Just really want to make it exciting for the fans to watch and also to be a part of, to play. Which I think it will massively grow the game over here because it's a really exciting brand of rugby to watch. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I feel, as an LA native, as a American-born sports player, excitement is always what key is, right? We need that attention because there's so much that we can be looking at in LA. So when we see something that's exciting on the pitch, regardless of maybe we don't know what exactly is happening, but if we can see tries being scored, everyone's going crazy, it definitely finds that appeal. So yeah, another thing that I've noticed from the change, obviously, year one, we were in Health Dignity Sports Park, which is a nice venue, but maybe a little too big. We did play in the smaller pitch as well. But man, it seems like at Wallace Annenberg Stadium, especially last game, record-setting crowd, 2,800 people. It just seems like the crowds are getting bigger, more energy. How big is that to be playing in front of a loud crowd that is supporting you boys?
Yeah, I think there's a massive difference. Like the stadium we had last year was a beautiful stadium, great pitch, but you could never really feel the atmosphere if anyone was really there, right? Because it was such a large stadium. But with Wallace Annenberg, everyone feels like they're on sort of top of you. Like, and it's a great atmosphere because, like, especially against San Diego, the whole place was packed, right? And you could really feel the energy and the excitement from the crowd. How, like, because there is a great atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like you were there, you were experiencing. Like it's a lot more. It's a lot better for sure.
Yes. Now let's talk. Unfortunately, like I mentioned before, you suffered an injury. Remind me which game it was that you suffered your injury in?
It was just after the Seattle game.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the knee, right?
Yeah, my right knee. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we talked about it. Rehab is going well. Possibly we'll see you're coming back. What have you been doing in the meantime to prepare for the return? What does a rugby player do other than just the rehab part to prepare themselves to come back in after a couple? Because you've been gone for about what, a month now, maybe a month or more.
Yep.
So what does a rugby player do to prepare themselves to get back onto the pitch?
Yeah, like you said, obviously been like cracking into the rehab really hard and trying to get my knee right as good as I can. But like another thing is don't always trying to keep up on the footage at training and don't try to miss out on anything that they've been learning or been getting better at. So you always want to try and keep and stay involved in the team. So when you do come back, you don't feel like you're behind. So obviously just still trying to be engaged with all the teammates and coaches and obviously watching a lot of training and doing a lot of analysts and stuff like that. So when the time is to come back, be ready to go.
Nice. And so then that's a constant, correct? It's every week you're always there with all the team, regardless that you're playing or not. You're always a participant of all these training sessions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's great. So now let's talk about with your play style is exciting. I remember when you came on first season, because obviously never seen you play before. And you definitely stood out in my opinion. You hit people, you're moving. I remember, I forgot what game it was, but man, you had the ball, you ran quite a bit and then got tackled. Somehow you unfortunately lost the ball, but you got right back up and you made the tackle on the dude that took the ball away from you. And I was like, wow, that is impressive for a guy your size to not only run with the ball, then lose the ball, but then get back up and take down the guy that took you down.
Just trying to make up for the mistake I made so I don't get yelled at.
Right, but it's really impressive. I mean, what is the mindset that goes through a rugby player knowing that you have to be, because there is no, I try to explain to people what the difference with rugby and football, American football, you guys get downs. There is a time stop. You kind of can get yourself to catch your breath a little bit. Literally almost not like that in rugby. It's almost a constant flow of motion. How do you prepare for something like that?
Like you said, like it's always, you don't really get to have a mental switch off in rugby, right? There's always something, you need to be moving, you need to be talking. So like that, if you make a mistake or something like that, you got to be like, right, next job, I need to make up for this. I need to get a positive involvement now. I need to get back in the game. I can't just dwell on that and just have a breakthrough. It's just got to keep moving, keep next job. So that's the thing. I think it's a big thing for any rugby player. Like everyone makes mistakes, right?
Right.
So like if the best next thing is just like just flushing it and go next job. Let me get back into the game. It's still a positive involvement.
Love that.
I think that's the best thing. Yeah.
Love that. Now, as we mentioned before, a couple of years in Super Rugby. So what is your assessment? And I know it's only been a couple of years here in Major League Rugby, but what is your assessment comparing, or can you compare Super Rugby with MLR? Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I think comparing the two, like I think the MLS, it's just probably just as physical as Super Rugby with the contact, but it's just at the moment it's lacking is probably the speed of the game.
Okay.
I think that's a big thing in Super Rugby, how fast and how not less stoppages they have. That's probably the main difference I've noticed in between the two, just how quicker the game is over there. But I think it's on the right way, the MLR. I think it's growing. Every year you can tell it's growing, better STEM players coming over. So I think if they just keep chipping at it, it's going to be a great prospect of rugby.
That's awesome. Now, obviously, there's a big game coming up. You weren't able to make the trip with the boys when they travel over to Seattle. That's coming up on Friday. Big game, obviously. We are ahead of Seattle. They're the number 5 spot. We're the number 4 spot. Only 4 teams make the playoff. You don't have to divulge too much, but what is the strategy or the mindset going into this game for Seattle? Is there this belief that this is a must-win game, or how are the boys approaching this game?
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a massive point in our season. We really want to get a win this weekend. We really want to get back on that winning bandwagon. So I think we're just gonna really focus on our style of rugby, the best things that we can control. Like what's the main things we need to do in the game for us to get a win, and that seems just playing patiently, fast, solid defense, just the things that we can control. Because at the end of the day, we can't control what the ref does or what they're doing. So we got to look at our own backyard and do the best things that we can do for the game.
Got it. That's great. I love that. Now, obviously, we have from year 1 to year 2, kind of the same thing that you were facing with the Reds, where we have a new coaching staff. We have a bit of a turnover, a bunch of new players, a bunch of young new players. Anybody for the fans of RFCLA or the newer fans of RFCLA that are still trying to get to know the players, anybody in your mind that has really stuck out as a year 1 player for RFCLA that everybody should be on the lookout for?
There's a couple, mate, to be honest. I think Ed Timpson, he's probably one of the best players is playing in our team at the moment. I haven't seen that guy have a bad game so far.
Yeah.
Sean Nolan, I think he's a really young, exciting prospect for the American rugby. I think he's going to have a massive future, could be potential USA Eagle in the future.
Nice.
He's got a lot of skill, and he's such a young guy, and he's an American 10. Obviously, Billy Meeks killing it. He's probably the best I've seen Bill play.
Of course.
He's playing with that much confidence, and there's a lot of guys like Jay Stam's playing unreal since he's been back with his knee. So no, it's been great.
Nice. Now let's talk. This is going to be my favorite part of our interview is getting to know more of DZ and getting to know more about your mates and your thoughts on your mates. So let's talk a little bit about you. Again, every time I talk with your teammates, you always come up as just the guy who's down for anything, ready to party. He is the dude that is just probably already at the party. Like if everyone's going to a party, you're probably already there. Where does this mindset come from for you? Have you always been just this fun-loving guy? Because even myself, when I talk to you, you kind of have that vibe of just being a very cool, chill but fun guy.
Oh yeah, man. I like to just obviously hang around my mates a lot. Love being around them. Always having a good time, being really positive. I don't really like to get too down, and I always like try and uplift the mood as much as I can. And I love it. I think I got it from my parents. They're pretty similar people to me. They really have some really good mates, and they like to have a good time as well. So yeah, that's sort of who I am.
Nice. Yep. Now I always ask these questions of you and your teammates, so I'm obviously going to be asking you. You guys do a lot of traveling. Is there anybody on the squad that you want to always be your roommate? You're always happy to have them as your roommate. Anyone in particular that always stands out as like a great roommate for you?
So I've lived with Ben Strang for 2 years, and he's been my roommate a few times. Me and him get along really well. Guys like Seth Purdy, pretty close with. Me and him. So probably those two boys for sure.
Got it. Now, on the flip side, anybody that you can't room with or just will refuse to room with?
Yeah, Mikey Fungai for sure. Man. He just doesn't shut up. He
talks a lot.
Oh man, he could talk underwater for days.
Really?
So, yeah.
Interesting.
He likes to play this fake sort of person. When you really get to know him, you understand. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to talk to him about that. I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah. Another one that I always ask, say you have to go back home and you're at LAX and you forgot your passport and you only have time to call one of your teammates. It has to be a teammate. But obviously you want to make sure you're calling the one that you know for sure will get you your passport in time to catch your flight. Who is it going to be?
Probably Joe Stam.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's the most guy that comes
most responsible one, and I think he'd get there. He would never let you down. He's a great man, and I think he'd be on that straight away, and you'd know that he'd get it done for sure.
Got it. Now, on the flip side, who are you not calling? Because you know for sure they're not going to help you, or they might not even pick up the phone.
Probably Christian Liliafano. He'd probably grab my passport from home and throw it away on the way there. So he's that type of bloke.
Got it. Now, this has become a very popular subject, and it's going to be kind of a playoff of it. I don't know if you've heard about the debate about the gorilla versus 100 guys. That fight, there's somehow it became very viral where people are saying, can 100 people beat a gorilla, in a fight? So we're not going to fight with a gorilla. But my question to you, and of course, we don't condone fighting on the podcast, but say you're at a bar, okay? You're having a great time. All of a sudden, let's just say, we'll make it very reasonable. 5 dudes come up to you, and they just have, for whatever reason, they don't like you. And they're making it very apparent you're not leaving the bar unless there's a fight. Now, you have to choose 2 other people on the RFCLA squad to be your backup in order to get out of that bar. Who are those 2 people?
Probably have one of them, probably Matt Heaton.
Oh, okay.
That guy's not scared of anything. He'll swing to the death. He'll stand and bang. So probably him and
definitely see that. And then one more.
Maybe Ben Houston. He's got a bit of go in him. He can. He won't back down from a fight.
Ben's a big dude.
Even though he's a Sydney boy from Mossman, he's got a bit of go about him. So
there you go. I like that. Last couple of questions. You're stranded on a desert island, and you only have one teammate that you're going to be stuck with. You'll get rescued. You have supplies and everything, so you're not going to be worried about food or anything. But you're going to be stuck there for a month. Who's the one teammate of yours that you'd be willing to stay a month with on a desert island?
I'd probably say Jack Shaw.
Oh, okay.
He's a very outdoors man. He's from the forest in Canada. He's a athletic, fit guy. He can climb the trees, get the coconuts, and know what.
Sure. There you go.
So yeah, Jack Shaw, I think for sure.
There you go. Now, going back to you, is there anything, DZ, that you do outside of rugby? So you have a free day, or is it all rugby 24/7 for you? What are you?
Definitely not. I love, like, when I'm home or around here, I like to play a lot of golf.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing golf with mates. Just something else to do. Take your mind off rugby.
Sure. That seems to be a popular thing. I talked to Ben Houston, and golf seems to be a popular thing amongst RFCLA players. So got it. Very cool. And then I've been meaning to ask you, because he came up with a prior interview. What are your thoughts on one Taz Smith?
Oh, mate. That's one of the most annoying humans I've ever met, I reckon.
Oh, no.
Typical little lippy halfback that likes to talk a lot of smack and runs away. He's a great man, Tazzy. I love Tazzy. He's a great player as well. He's got a very exciting future for himself. But yeah, no, I love that guy. But yeah, he can be annoying at sometimes.
I do know, especially after watching a lot of Super Rugby, a lot of URC and everything. The scrum halves, fly halves, a lot of that, and I know it really annoys the front rowers because it's all the yip. But it's interesting. That's interesting. So, last couple of questions for you, and let's go back to about you. So, what does the future hold for Dane Zander? Obviously, I feel you have a great career here at Major League Rugby, but let's talk about your Reds career. 47 caps in Super Rugby, so 3 shy of 50. I mean, is there any thought of maybe going back to Super Rugby? Do you want to have a long career here? What's the future for DZ?
I don't really like looking too far ahead. I just like to sort of be present in the moment and just try and do my best. But I'd love to go back to Super Rugby. Would love to go maybe play over in Europe one day.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Would love to try and get over there, or like you said, just try and grow the MLR and play in this competition. So, not too sure exactly what the future is. I'm just going to try and put the best foot forward every day and just see where it ends up, sort of thing.
Love it, man. I love that answer. And then final question, I always ask everybody about this because, again, the purpose of my YouTube channel is to introduce rugby to an American audience that's not too familiar with rugby. So in your own words, if a person came up to you, and I'm sure a lot of people have already, but a person comes up to you and goes, so what is this rugby? What's rugby all about? What's the big deal of it? What is your answer to them?
I would say to an American, it's It's a game with no pads, no helmets. Very physical game. A game where you can sort of be any shape or size, so anyone can sort of play the game, right? Very exciting, fast, physical game, right? So yeah.
There you go. There you go. Love it. Love it. All right, Dane. Hey, as always, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. I always going to wish you positivity on your rehab and hope to see you back on the pitch very soon because, you know, we obviously would need all the bodies we can as we head to the end of the stretch here in Major League Rugby. Before I finish, though, do you want to shout out your social media if anybody wants to follow you?
Oh yeah, it's just Dane_Zander on Instagram. That's probably all I got. So yeah.
There you go. That sounds great. So, and again, Dane, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. Hopefully, maybe we could do another because you didn't do too bad. Maybe we could do another hot wing challenge or some sort of spicy
Yeah, for
challenge.
sure.
I think that would be really great to have you back on that. And yeah, again, good luck with everything with rehab. Hope to see you on the pitch sooner than later. And thank you very much for your time, brother.
No worries, brother. Anytime.
Thank you. And of course, thank you all the fans who are watching the podcast. I do appreciate your support, and we'll see you on the pitch.